I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and I've noticed some larger motorcycle channels creating encouraging videos about scooters. And I feel the American motorbike culture is finally changing. When I discussed this topic months ago with my friend Keith from Taiwan, hey, shout out to Keith, we shared how motorbike culture differs between Taiwan and America, and there are some differences, so check out that video if you haven't seen it. But if you're watching, Keith, hey, we got to do it. But if you're watching, Keith, hey, we got to connect real soon, okay? If you haven't watched that podcast video, check it out. So anyway, I'm going to plug some other channels right now because a lot of you probably watch the same channels as I do. But it was refreshing to hear some of the positive things that they had to say about scooters. I'll have the links below for the different videos I'm talking about, so check it out, especially how they discuss scooters. So Yammie Noob, big Yamaha channel, right? 1.4 million subscribers. You also have FortNine, which is about 2 million subscribers and counting. And of course, our friend over at Revzilla with another 1.5 million subscribers. So these are some big channels. These are some of the biggest out there. And the positive stuff that they say about scooters was really encouraging for folks that own them like myself and some of you guys. So maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the one that had the insecure feeling when I first bought this bike. Maybe that's just me. But the more I browse YouTube, the more I'm seeing positive vibes about scooters in general. It's YouTube. I understand. Bigger channels need to make content. I understand it's YouTube. Bigger channels need to make content to make this because most of those big channels do this full time, unlike myself. I have a day job. So some of the content they create is maybe chosen to just get views. You got to keep that in mind. But when you watch some of these videos from the bigger channels, these guys are actually riding these things. They have multiple bikes, of course, like some of you guys do, lucky bums, but a lot of them ride the actual automatic smaller displacement bikes, and they love them. So any thoughts that I had in the past about scooters being toys, I was clearly humbled. Scooters are here to stay. And when I purchased one, I knew right away it was a great machine because I did my research. In fact, I'm reading more each day about these manufacturers coming out with automatic type motorbikes. I think what irritates me the most, and maybe some of you, is the term scooter. Of course, I looked it up, and the term scooter was kind of invented, I guess you could say, or used in 1916 to describe a small motorized bike with two wheels and a flat floorboard, kind of like you'd see a step through, like a Vespa, where you have the bigger floorboard. So it's been around a while, the term. So anytime I hear the word scooter, I think of one of those little two-wheel with the long handles that you step on like children and you push your other foot along to power it. That's also called a scooter. But also I used to think scooters were only something that maybe you could get on vacation, you know, ride around the boardwalk, Jersey Shore, whatever. And that's kind of the impression that I had about scooters. So that term kind of diminishes the bike, and it puts a stigma on it that is really not fair because the technology and the engineering that goes into some of these machines are phenomenal. And I found that out right away. So as soon as I hopped on my new bike and I started riding it on the road, and I was keeping up with traffic, and I was going 67 on the highway, and I'm like, this is a serious machine. It's not a toy. Look, this thing costs $5,000. So there you go. It's not a toy. I feel if more people rode them, they would understand the whole scope of my channel and what the scooters are about. And I also think they'd be quickly changing the name from scooter to either motorcycle or motorbike. I call it an adventure bike. If somebody asks me, and I get compliments all the time, even when I'm riding, somebody at a stop sign, red light, gas station, they'll say, oh my God, that's so cool. What is that? It's an automatic motorbike. It is. It's got a motor. It's got two wheels. It's a bike. Just kind of not a fan of the term scooter, even though we're just stuck with it. Plus, when you get my age, labels don't matter much anymore. I could care less what people think of it or what they call it. I've learned that if you allow others to dictate your mood, then that's a pointless life. and you really need to work on that. This is hard when people are younger because we're so easily influenced by words and labels, and it's very tough. I understand. I was there once too. Peer pressure, right? We all have to go through it. But after a while, all these years on the planet, you tend to lose that stigma about labels. And you start to become more independent in thinking and could care less what others think. Me, I don't care. I'm gonna ride what I like, and it's okay. And this is where confidence comes into play. I had some comments months back about, yeah, I see plenty of girls riding scooters, and you know, whatever. These are just immature thinking people that don't get it. They've not been around the planet long enough to understand that, yeah, everything's a big joke, right? Everything's a label. Everything's a big, you know, a party to you. But you know, when you start going through some stuff in your real life, when you have to, yeah, that brings a lot of maturity. So if a person is confident in their own skin, they enjoy being alone, it doesn't require anyone else to affect my mood. That's a good start. So you could be a people flirt, you could be a people pleaser, you could be an introvert. There's nothing wrong with either one. Now, some people are a little bit of both, and we're all uniquely different. I think the more important thing is discover who you are, discover what type of bike you like, and let the childish, immature people out there call it whatever they like. You're the one riding it. You're the one that forked over the money for it. It's nobody else's business. And actually, when I've been on the road, very few people act like that. I mean, I hear stories. I get comments all the time on my videos. This last video, I'm like blown away by all the comments, and I thank you guys. And I know these bikes are easy to steal because they're lightweight. I had a gentleman say that he was actually drop kicked off a bike, a scooter, and it was stolen, and that's a shame. I've personally never heard about that in my area, at least. So yeah, it depends on where you live. But maybe if you live in a dangerous area, I mean, it could happen to me, it could happen to anybody. Yeah, you take those chances, but you know, he's right. He bought a Rebel 1100, I think, because it's too heavy to really steal. And that does logically make sense because these bikes, mine, weigh like around 300 pounds. So a couple guys in a van or a pickup, yeah, if I'm out in the middle of nowhere, they could very easily steal this bike. But see, I don't live my life that way. And I know it happens, and I feel bad for people that it does happen, but at the same time, I'm gonna enjoy life as long as I can, and hey, that's why I have insurance, right? As long as I don't get hurt. You could always protect yourself. You could always carry, you could always do stuff to protect yourself, and I don't condone that, because when you carry, I'm talking about a weapon, you have bigger responsibilities that you gotta worry about, so be careful with that. I used to carry, so know the laws of that too. So yes, I bought a scooter. No, I don't care what people think. Yes, I am free, and that's the key to a rewarding life. There's a lot of people on my channel that come here that are much older than I am. I always make a joke that I'm over a half century old, and I feel old sometimes with all the sports I used to do and wear and tear on the body. But when I saw the gentleman the other day, I think he said he's 89 and he just still out there riding a bike like mine or an ADV 160. I mean, that just blows me away. It's encouraging to hear those comments because it gives me a sense of, wow, I could do this for a lot longer. You know, I'm not hanging it up just because I'm 56 now, I think. To get my calculator out, still pretty young in retrospect to a lot of people. So I'm going to continue the ride as long as I can. The scooter, gentleman made a good point about if you got some neurological problems, the floorboards are great because some people, as they age, they lose that ability to shift. They may not have the ability in their legs or feet to be able to ride a manual bike. So these scooters are meant for people that want simplicity. You know, easy hop on, easy off, easy to start, easy to ride. There's a bike for everybody. But look, in closing, I wanted to say thank you for all the subscribers. Thanks for all the comments. I get a lot of joy out of my channel engaging with you guys. There's some channels out there that I watch them. They do not ever leave a comment to anyone. And that's, I guess when you get that large, I'd probably be the same way. But right now, I'm enjoying the collaboration. I'm enjoying the comments. And if I can, I will leave you a reply, because that's what I get joy out of. I mean, we're a big community here. and we all share similar things on the road, and we all have to deal with the same circumstances and the traffic and the people on their cell phones not watching where we're going. It's dangerous out there. So coming to a place like Trichopolis is just my world of understanding that there's people like me that are riding the same type of bike that are dealing with the same stuff, and kind of makes you feel like you are not alone. So thank you, everybody. Well, again, channel's closing in on 1 million views. It's an unbelievable journey. I've been doing this about 3 or 4 years, and it's continuing to grow daily. And I just like riding bikes. My first bike was a Tomos moped when I was 14. I was too young to drive, but I wanted transportation, and then my parents, I think, bought me a silver and black Tomos, T-O-M-O-S, moped. Now, moped has the pedals still, but man, I bought one of those, about 2 other buddies of mine bought one, and we would ride the daylights out of those things all day long on a tank of gas everywhere around our city. They were a blast. We would take the mufflers off and make them really obnoxiously loud with no baffles or nothing, and you'd hear us coming a mile away. We thought it was fun because we were just still, wet behind the ears, trying to discover ourselves. So I've always had a lot of fun on bikes, and buying a scooter like this kind of reminds me, or gives me that feeling of that old moped I used to have, because it's so easy, it's lightweight, it's nimble, but it looks a lot more professional than a moped. So again, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.